I'm a big believer that learning doesn't just happen in school and actually happens beyond the school gate. And I think if you're thinking about supporting young people with attainment, supporting them with achievement, we really add to that within the youth work sector.
Youth work belongs in education because it can help kids focus and get back on track with their work and their stress and how they're feeling.
If I'm honest, for me personally, it's about working with other professionals who really understand what it's like to work with young people in all the different layers. And actually, for me, being able to bounce ideas off of some of our youth workers about how to best deal with a situation with a family or a young person is super helpful.
Youth workers are often the first to notice changes in a young person's well-being, and their ability to engage through informal, non-judgmental approaches means they can support early intervention before issues escalate.
I've noticed he's more confident in himself, he's not as shy, he approaches people more. If he needs help, especially now in the classroom, he approaches the teachers more.
Something magic is what they bring, because the young people have got such a trusted bond with the youth workers that you can just see the confidence growing from a disengaged, non-attending young person to being in the building to then having that next stepping stone back into mainstream classes.
We've done a lot of work with our P7s transitioning into S1. That's such a crucial time for young people in terms of their emotional well-being, and again for some of those children identified through our one-to-one work, they need that enhanced support, and that's where youth work is absolutely cracking.
I need youth work because it helps me come to school. I've got loads of opportunities, work experience, I've got a job now and a lot less stress, and my negative referrals are down to like 2 this year or so.
In my role, I've seen how effective youth work and school partnerships can improve young people's engagement in learning, especially for young people struggling with school or facing poverty or other barriers. Supportive relationships with youth workers can really help young people build their confidence and skills and their ambitions for the future.
And what we did was we targeted those young people who we could see were struggling, and they either worked in small groups or individually with their youth worker. And the very important skills of communication, of self-confidence, of self-awareness, they were the first things that Jackie really worked to develop.
I would really recommend this. The skills the children get out of it is invaluable, and their confidence has grown so much that you can see them really flourishing when they go to high school.
You're playing fun games and you don't even realise that you're learning all the stuff, decision making, creating change, leadership, confidence.
Most importantly, what that's allowed us to do is to develop very bespoke programmes that meet the needs specifically of those young people and lead to a whole range of outcomes that have really bettered their opportunities for when they move on eventually from Braes High School.
Through having youth work, it brings more opportunities in, it brings more like advocacy in for you, that you can stick up for the things that you believe in and stuff, so there's a lot of benefits there.
It's different because normally in class you're sitting down just doing maths, but when you're out here you can learn and get some fresh air.
You get to do activities but you still do the work as well, so it's a mix of both.
So Y2K supports our improvement priorities in a number of ways, so increased attendance, decrease in exclusions and disengagement within the curriculum, and positive outcomes for young people through wider SCQF accreditation.
Absolute care absolute commitment to getting the best out of every young person. That's what's making this work.
You know, we have a lot of services that we can access, some not as quickly as we would like, but with Y2K it's always a rapid response, and 99.9% of the time they're reaching young people that other services aren't necessarily able to do, and that's through the power of their relationship building.
It just makes sense. It makes sense to have different elements of support in a school, supporting the pupils to achieve, attain and actually get the best out of themselves.